Hello my amazing viewers. Today we're gonna deep dive into the ecosystems of the gourmet world and the creatures that rule them, known as the 8 Kings. Now, when I say king of monsters, you're probably thinking Godzilla, the literal king of monsters, but today I'm gonna show you kaiju that put Godzilla to death, least of all shame. Before diving into the 8 Kings, I feel an explanation is needed on these fierce predators. Aside from the 8 Kings' immeasurable strength and power, what truly makes these mighty creatures kings are their sensitivity to nature. Much like how small animals can sense predatory threats, changes in the weather, or imminent natural disasters, the 8 Kings sense tiny occurrences across the planet which may prove important to their survival, going to a far greater extent than even the most keen of animals. This allows them to procure countless ingredients and food to not only ensure their survival, but also their species. Even non-natural crises and events can be detected or anticipated by the kings, such as when all of them sense Toriko's rising power following his duel with Starjuan. This nearly omniscient power is what has ultimately allowed the 8 Kings and their descendants in question to survive countless mass extinction events, which otherwise would have been lethal even to them. Some of the 8 Kings have been named, while some only appear to be the species they belong to, but that does nothing to decrease the title of king. The 8 Kings' power is so immense that a single footprint of theirs, from thousands of years ago, still emanates with such powerful aura that even the descendants of their own descendants and the 4 heavenly kings quiver in their weight. When the kings clash, their very presence causes a massive natural weather phenomenon known as an emperor ring, the size of which varies to the strength of the creatures. Each king lays claim to a specific continent in the gourmet world and defends it with almost warlord-like behavior, while also providing stability to the ecosystems by being the top of the food chain. Area 1. Area 1 is a rather unique continent in the gourmet world, being completely surrounded by Area 2. It is home to the Dragon King, Daros. Not much is known about the Dragon King, other than that, like his ancestors, he possesses a singular fang said to be strong enough to warp landscapes. The current Dragon King is so large that he can crash mountains in his palms. The Dragon King has been shown to fire lasers from his tongue when conjoined into a focused beam, has been shown to surpass light speed, breaking into space and even destroying several planets. It has been said that the Dragon King is extremely territorial and will attack anyone who enters Area 1. Area 2. Surrounding Area 1 is Area 2, a massive arc of islands chaining together. Within Area 2 lies the continent of beginning, the origin point of all life in the Toriko world. This leads to various islands in the area having various weather patterns and ecosystems. This continent is home to the Wolf King, Guinness. Guinness is the leader of the Battle Wolves, a species of wolves that has always been feared as the members of the 8 Kings. Faster than the human eye can even detect, Guinness moves throughout Area 2. His sense of smell is so powerful it can encompass the entire planet. Guinness is capable of gaining all information about his targets via their scent, from their species, sex, age, habitat, ancestry, and DNA to even their favorite foods. This ability is not limited to living beings, as he can extract information from organic matter such as rocks or water. In the case of living targets, they become immobile as their sentient essence of sort leaves their body, making it seem as if their souls have been sucked right out of them. His strength is beyond calculation, as shown in the manga, where Guinness once struck a foe and the result's effect made the entire earth ripple. One fun fact about Guinness is that he is the foster parent of Knocking Master Jiro. Jiro the Wolfman. Man, that's gonna be a good episode. Anyway, Area 3. Area 3, ruled by Crow King, Emperor Crow, is known as the harshest realm in the gourmet world. Also known as the Cloud Continent, although it's not so fun and fluffy, it is the second smallest of the continents that make up the gourmet world. Hosting poison rain and even cloud volcanoes, it is truly an odd place, or should I say deadly. The 8 King that resides here is, as I said, the Crow King, Emperor Crow, a creature with speed and intelligence rivaling that of the other 8 Kings. The Emperor Crow resembles a large crow. A single flap of its wings can create massive hurricane-like winds that scatter poison to all below, simply causing the prey to stop thinking and wither away. But the Crow King's true power is that anyone who falls underneath its shadow is instantly vaporized. It can create these shadows above and below its body by producing miniature sun-like spheres of appetite energy. A truly deadly foe. Area 4. Along with Area 7, Area 4 is one of the largest continents on the Toriko Earth. Not much is known about Area 4's native fauna and flora, as only 3 organisms from this land have ever been observed. Beasts fleeing through this continent try to enter the human world via the three-way road which leads to the Wok continent. Luckily, such beasts are weaker organisms who were driven out of their native habitat due to their weakness. An area with an abundance of beautiful flora and fauna. What is known of this continent is that it is ruled by the unnamed mother snake referred to as the Snake King. Mother snakes are massive. They are the longest and largest species of snake on the planet. It is said that they grow to the length of the circumference of the planet. While its head has rarely been seen, its body is observed in numerous places throughout the world. When moving at its top speed, the mother snake rivals the battle wolf, emperor crow, and even the fastest of creatures in the Toriko world. Even as a child, one can reach over 400 kilometers an hour, and an adult is said to be as fast as a meteor. Because if you haven't noticed, these creatures are all apex predators. The trails left in its wake form impassable cyclones, seemingly where the air itself separated, only known as mother tornadoes. The reason so few creatures have seen the mother snake's face isn't because of its speed or even its massive size. Any creature that locks eyes with a mother snake can count itself as good as dead. The mother snake is so large that it has been said to be able to stretch its body into outer space in search of food to satiate its voracious appetite. You've reached the halfway mark on the video. Take the time to congratulate yourselves, everybody, because I personally wouldn't listen to myself talk about giant monsters this long. Be sure to like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get back to the giant monsters. Area 5. Only being outsized by Area 4 and 7 is the third largest continent in the gourmet world, and is home to the gourmet world's natural treasure, the food region forest, which hosts some of the most dangerous wild beasts in the gourmet world, outside of the 8 kings. These creatures serve the specific purpose of guarding the king of Area 5, Deer King, Sky Deer. It's said to have the calmest and most gentle personality of all the 8 kings, but when enraged becomes a threat like no other. So much that the fierce creatures on its back will do anything to allow him to remain at peace. If his wrath is brought down like all the 8 kings, Sky Deer possesses the power of an ultimate predator. Sky Deer can create spaces in which the object trapped within that space ages thousands, if not millions or hundreds of millions of times faster, to the point past decay. It can even place other creatures in this space who seem to not be affected by the passage of time. Area 6. Home to one of the few remaining gourmet world civilizations, Blue Shell. Area 6 is actually a massive ocean with several islands chains inside of it. Being mainly underwater, Area 6 is widely inaccessible without either a specialized vehicle or camping monster. It hosts many dangerous areas such as the Black Triangle, Conveyor Belt Islands, and it is even home to the gourmet world Spirit Door. Said to be the most powerful of the 8 kings, this area hosts the Whale King Moon. So powerful that when he began to move in Area 6, all other 8 kings stirred into wake from his response. Whale King Moon resides as this area's ruler and apex predator. The waters of the Black Triangle shine with no light simply because when Moon eats, it instantly consumes everything around it, even light. It is said that Moon's infinite stomach is known to be connected to the spirit world, and this may explain its ravenous appetite. Moon's general way of eating is to simply create a black hole from its mouth that, as I said, not even light can escape. But let's quit monkeying around and finish this up. You know what, speaking of monkeys, Area 7. Area 7 is a continent of massive proportions, not size necessarily, but in general size relative to other continents. The nutrient-dense continent is home to an innumerable species of intelligent and powerful primates. However, despite the massive array of food and bountiful wealth of resources, this area and its inhabitants fall under a strict caste system. Each part of this continent is ruled by a separate master, the masters forcing all other inhabitants to adhere to a strict code of predation, where only the top creatures get to eat and climb the food chain. This, however, all goes unbeknownst to the trickster of the 8 kings, and perhaps my favorite, Monkey King Bambina. He lives in the center, living atop the 100G mountain, a mountain with over 100 times Earth's normal gravity, which is simply made of his own scraps and offerings that have over time been compressed by the high gravity. Bambina plays no hand in governing his ecosystem, having no hand in the caste system other than to teach the other primates a form of monkey combat known as Emily, simply so he could find a playboy. Bambina shows a careless, childlike nature, preferring to play games like casually skipping mountains across the ocean, or jumping into space and taking a nap amongst the celestial bodies. Bambina and his continent have so much to go over that I have to save it for another video, guys. It's just so massive. But without further ado, let's move on to the final area of the gourmet world. Area 8. Area 8 is the most desolate environment, but has massive variations in weather, like most of the Gourmet world. Toriko first entered this section of the Gourmet world and met his constant, tragic L after L after L, because the massive areas and the differences in weather stem from the Horse King Heracles himself. The differences in weather arise from the Horse King's very presence. Similar to the other 8 kings, even momentary shifts in his mood can prove fatal for the areas around him. From healing rain to heavy rain, all the way to poison rain or golden-shaped clouds, Heracles' power warps the very landscape around him. The Horse King's diet consists of the very air itself, to the point where eating and breathing are the same. One breath could allow this creature to sustain itself for an entire year. You see, the Horse King only breathes out 10% of the air he takes in. But I know what you're gonna ask me. Psych! How can this cause massive weather disasters and natural phenomenon, and why do I even care about it? Well, you see, this is all caused by the insane amount of air that Horse King breathes in. In one single breath of air, he inhales over 360 billion tons of air. In volume, that's 300 million cubic meters, the volume of seawater in the Atlantic Ocean. As you can guess, the destructive force of a single breath is unfathomable. From reducing the space around it to a literal vacuum, to firing a single beam-like breath of air that pierced the earth and flew into space. For scale, think about it this way. The Horse King Heracles is so large that it could stand at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, which has an estimated depth of 10,994 meters, and still look down on Mount Everest, which has an estimated height of 8,848 meters. And each and every member of the 8 King has abilities and intelligence to scale. This is the true wonder of the Gourmet world, the apex predators whose very existence is godlike and omnipresent. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. It was a lengthy one and it took a long time, but I had to describe the sheer awe that are the 8 Kings. Now give them a thought next time you see a kaiju movie and think Godzilla is the king of monsters. Catch you on the next episode of Toriko Unveiled, and thank you for tuning in to the Psych Ward.